This crash happened in just 38 seconds after the plane took off. Within no time, 241 people who were on board the flight died.
A Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner carried 242 people, including 230 passengers and 12 crew members.
An Air India flight bound for London's Gatwick Airport has crashed in a residential area of Meghani Nagar, Ahmedabad.
The terribly large explosion, smoke and fire filling the air.
But we don't know what actually caused this disaster.
And this wasn't some old aircraft. This was one of Boeing's flagship plane, 787 Dreamliner, a plane with no fatal crashes until now. After this news, Boeing aircraft started making headlines. Snags, cancellations, unexplained failures. An Air India flight from Hong Kong to Delhi, technical snag. Another flight from San Francisco to Kolkata, issue in the left engine. Delhi Ranchi Air India Express flight, suspected technical problems. Another Dreamliner on the same Ahmedabad-London route as the crash was also cancelled.
That's 4 incidents in just a few days.
The common thing in all these incidents, Boeing airplanes.
Just a few years ago, Boeing was known for innovation, safety, and was even known as one of America's greatest engineering marvels.
They built some of the greatest planes which people relied on and traveled all around the world. But looking at all these headlines, from doors blowing off mid-air to tragic crashes claiming hundreds of lives, there's just one question. How did this aviation giant fall? How did they go from being an engineering marvel to newspaper headline?
So, is this the end of Boeing?
Boeing was founded way back in 1916 by William E. Boeing. Within a few years, they are one of the most trusted aviation companies. They started by building small mail planes but really made their name during World War II. Their B-17 Flying Fortress and B-29 Super Fortress bombers became absolute game changers and helped America and their allies win the war. But their most iconic achievement was the 747 passenger plane, also known as the Queen of Skies. It was the first wide-body jumbo jet that revolutionized air travel and made global travel accessible to millions of people all over the world. For decades, Boeing had an engineering-first culture, where safety and design were given most importance. After the 747 success, they built twin-engine wide-body planes like 767, 777 and 787 Dreamliners, which were huge success. Boeing pushed boundaries and made air travel safer, efficient and comfortable. But things changed after they merged with another aviation giant, McDonnell Douglas in 1997. For most of the time, Boeing stayed ahead of its competition. Companies like Lockheed and Convair exited the commercial aircraft market in 1970s. And after Boeing's merger with McDonnell Douglas, it was just Boeing and their European rival Airbus in the market. But Boeing had captured the major market share at that time. They delivered a huge number of planes, especially their 737s, which crossed 11,000 units, almost making them a monopoly in the market for years. But after the merger, the fundamentals of the company started to change. You see, Boeing was engineering first company, but McDonnell Douglas was more finance driven and had a cost cutting culture. They had more influence over the company after the merger. The company's focus shifted from building the best to making more money for the shareholders. So the company started cost cutting, outsourcing and pushing for efficiency even if it compromised with the quality. Outsourcing and quality issues. In 2001, they even shifted their headquarters from Seattle to Chicago, moving away the management from the people who are actually building the planes. After Airbus launched its fuel-efficient plane A320neo, Boeing didn't build a new plane to compete with them. Instead, they made some changes to their old 737 model and launched 737 MAX. This was done to save time and money they would have spent on retraining pilots for a completely new aircraft. Since the 737 MAX had bigger engines placed a little further, it messed with the balance and aerodynamics of the plane and made its nose pitch upwards. To fix this issue, Boeing added a software called MCAS to the planes. This software was designed to automatically push the nose of the plane down in some situations. But this software used data from just one angle of attack sensor. If that sensor gave wrong data, the system would keep pushing the nose of the plane down again and again. And the worst part, most pilots didn't even know MCAS existed and how much control it had over the plane. Because of this, there were two terrible accidents. Lion Air Flight 610 in October 2018, and Ethiopian Airline Flight 302 after a few months in March 2019. A total of 346 passengers lost their lives in these two fatal crashes. In both these cases, the planes crashed just a few minutes after their takeoff. Pilots couldn't fight against the automated system as they didn't fully understand it. This 737 MAX crisis also showed that Boeing's outsourcing strategy had many issues. 70% of parts of the 787 Dreamliner plane were made by suppliers all around the world. To cut costs and speed things, the plane started having quality issues. Many issues came up, like badly installed fasteners, and serious issues like parts were made from wrong materials. Because Boeing didn't have complete control over these suppliers and processes, the issues had to be fixed later at the final assembly stage, which caused more delays and more quality issues in the plane. Then in January 2024, an Alaska airline door blew out mid-air. After this incident, Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun and one of the board members resigned to repair company's reputation and rebuild trust. Short-term gains versus long-term value. The second big issue was the company's short-term vision after the merger. Instead of fixing the quality issues or investing in new products, the company spent $61 billion on stock buybacks between 1998 and 2018. This was done to boost the stock price and make the company's earnings look better. Mainly, it benefited the shareholders and top executives whose bonuses were dependent on stock performance. This focus on short-term gains hit the problem for some time. Boeing stopped putting enough money into research, development, and even safety improvements. The company leadership chose financial tricks over investing in R&D and building good products and innovating, which had initially made the company successful. Suppressing voices and losing trust. Many engineers and quality managers spoke up about production issues, tight deadlines, and safety risks. But instead of correcting the issues, they were ignored and sidelined. Some also died under suspicious circumstances. John Barnett, a former Boeing quality manager who had exposed serious safety problems, he was found dead in March 2024, supposedly by suicide, while he was in the middle of testifying a lawsuit against Boeing. Just a few months later, Joshua Dean, a whistleblower from Boeing supplier Spirit Aerosystems, also died after raising concerns about faulty manufacturing. All these incidents, cases, and ongoing problems have seriously damaged Boeing's reputation in the market. Airlines that once trusted Boeing are now cautious. The 737 MAX grounding cost them billions of dollars. Now the airlines are asking for stricter checks and even doing their own audits before accepting any new planes from Boeing. Boeing has also lost public trust. The phrase, "if it's Boeing, I ain't going," is not just a meme anymore. Many people are actually checking the plane model before booking a flight now, something people rarely used to do before. Airbus, Boeing's European competitor, made the most of this situation. For the last 5 years, Airbus has beaten Boeing both in orders and deliveries. In 2023, for the first time, more Airbus planes were flying than Boeing's. Boeing has been losing money since 2019 with an operating margin of minus 1.1% in 2023, and Airbus is profitable, earning a 6.5% margin in the same year. Boeing is facing an existential crisis. After putting profits before people for so long, can it really win back the trust it lost? If Boeing really wants to get back to where it was, it needs to make some big changes. It has to invest again in strong engineering, fix its quality control, and shift its mindset to focus on safety and reliability and not just short-term profits. Boeing still has a lot of challenges ahead, with regulators watching closely, lawsuits piling up, and tough competition in the market. The company has to prove it's serious. Earning back public trust will not be easy. It will take consistent honesty and accountability. New CEO leadership is a start, but true change must happen at every level. They have to rebuild trust with their own employees as well. So, what are your thoughts on Boeing's crisis? Can they truly rebuild trust, or has the damage been done too severe? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
If you like this deep dive into Boeing's story, please like this video and subscribe for more in-depth case studies, and hit the notification bell to stay informed. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.